Okay, welcome everybody to the Quantum Alchemy activation. Today, we're going to be talking about finding real love after a toxic relationship and the energy behind it. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Before I do that, Sharon, I'm going to give you co-host so you can let people in case I don't see them. Okay. All right. First, I'd like to, welcome, everybody. It's going to be myself, Liliana, and Sharon here. And first, I'd like to, if you could please put in the chat where in the world you're calling from. That way we can know where you're from. Go ahead and share it. Next, I want to remind you guys that this is a live workshop. So be present. The more you participate, the more you will apply it after it ends. To minimize distractions, silence your cell phones, write notes, keep your cameras on, use hashtag, takeaway to share in the chat too. Like if there's something that you take away from whatever somebody's talking about. Next thing is, I just want to let you know, what to expect. We're going to do welcome introductions, and then we're going to do a gratitude with Liliana. Then after that, we're going to be introducing our expert, topic guest speaker. And the topic for today is finding real love after a toxic relationship and the energy behind it. We're going to do Q&A after that. And then after that, we'll do a special invitation and closing statements. Okay? All right. First, I always like to say is, a question to ask yourself to get the most out of each section of content. Instead of asking yourself, does this even apply to me? Ask yourself, how does it apply to me? Because maybe some of you weren't in a toxic relationship, but you could use the tools and tips that you're going to be given to move forward. Okay. Obviously, those already know me. I'm the Chief Business Alchemist of Quantum Alchemy Activation Group. I combine strategic vision with spiritual transformation to help elevate the thriving community. With expertise in business management, strategic growth, and community development, I ensure that members have resources, structure, and opportunities to expand their knowledge and personal evolution. Okay, so I'm dedicated to creating a space where spiritual wisdom meets practical action, empowering individuals to align with their true potential and navigate their journey with clarity and purpose. And obviously, I'd like to introduce Liliana de Cruz, and she's the visionary founder and the Golden Age alchemist of the Quantum Alchemy Activation Group, a transformative community dedicated to awakening higher consciousness and unlocking the power of quantum energy. With a deep understanding of sacred geometry, alchemy, and spiritual evolution, she guides individuals on a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and multidimensional awareness. And through her wisdom and leadership, Liliana has cultivated a space where seekers can align with their highest potential, embrace transformation, and step into new realities of expansion, healing, limitless possibilities. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring Liliana to the stage, and she's gonna take us through a gratitude. Go ahead, Liliana.
Okay. I am very grateful for us to be here. I'm just gonna call the spirit. I'm gonna close my eyes. I get very emotional when I do these things, so I just want to feel everyone. And I wanted to open everyone's hearts at this time and space so we can be attuned to what is going to be said and allow ourselves to receive what we're going to receive from Sharon. We open our hearts with love and expansion, and as we do this, we expand it in our space. And I want to invite you all to be grateful for today, to expand your gratitude to yourselves, to your higher selves, and call your higher selves to be here so you can hear exactly what you need to hear from the here and now to apply into your life. So just going to be grateful for all these things, and all these blessings be with us and are with us. And I'm very grateful for the speaker, Sharon. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you very much for all of you that decided to take a little bit of time to expand your awareness and what love and toxic relationships are all about. And so it is, so it is, so it is. Thank you all. You're muted. You are mute.
Is there anything you want to say before we continue?
We haven't introduced Sharon, so she's our love and toxic relationship expert. I haven't read much about what she's done, but I've been listening to her, speaking on her own page. So if you haven't checked it out, just please do and check her out. At the end of the day, she will leave some information for you to take in. There's some people I want to speak with them. So I'm gonna introduce you to Sharon, and I take it from here.
Okay, so Sharon Vidano is a retired criminal defense attorney and turned transformational life coach. After 17-year marriage during which she felt invisible and unworthy, she embarked on a profound healing journey that reconnected her with spirit and ultimately led her to the love of her life. Today, Sharon helps professional women rewrite their love stories from the inside out, guiding them with clarity, confidence, and so aligned as they navigate dating and relationships. Her mission is simple: to walk alongside women ready to rise into their next empowered chapter with courage, love, and grace without compromising themselves or their success. Okay, and welcome to the stage, Sharon. She's going to be talking about finding real love after a toxic relationship and the energy behind it. Welcome, Sharon.
Very good. Thank you for having me. I'm so blessed to be here and the opportunity to serve your community. So I'm going to start off with a story. I remember shortly after my divorce, when I was a criminal defense attorney, I decided to sit at home one day and decided to sit on the couch, watch TV, and I was just going to relax. And all of a sudden, I remember my boys coming down the stairs. They were probably in high school at this time, and they said, okay, bye, Mom. We're going to be leaving for the evening where they're going out with their friends. And I said, okay, love you. They left. And all of a sudden, as I'm sitting on the couch, this thought dropped in my head as I heard the door close when they left. This thought dropped in my head, said, you're going to be alone. You're going to be alone in this house. They're going to grow up. They're going to move away. They're going to have their own families, and you're going to be alone. Then all of a sudden, this wave of sadness just hit me and tears started flowing down my face. I could no longer see the TV. All I saw was a blob of colors. And I just kept saying in my head, you're going to be alone. And I said, I don't want to be alone. When is someone going to love me? When is someone going to take care of me? And I know now when I said, when is someone going to take care of me? I meant, when is someone going to love me in a way that I would love and was needing to be loved at that time? And I was sobbing and I kept screaming out those words. And I finally noticed, I heard myself and I startled myself and I stopped. And I said, no, that is not the life I want. I don't want to be alone. I am going to live a life I love and meet someone. And that's when I took massive action. I decided to read books and I started watching videos and I hired a coach. And when I hired a coach, I started to grow and I started to expand. And as I started to expand, then I started dating. And oh my gosh, that was an adventure. I remember being online on the apps and I thought, oh my goodness, this is quite an adventure. But I dated and I stuck it through. And I was my authentic self. And I finally met a wonderful man. We dated for a while. And then one day at a Friendsgiving, we had all our friends here. I was in the kitchen and I heard screaming outside and I ran outside and I said, why are my girlfriends screaming? And I looked up in the sky and there was a plane with a banner behind it being pulled that said, Sharon, will you marry me? And as I then looked down, I then saw my boyfriend at the time down on one knee. He proposed and my eyes filled with tears, this time not with sadness, but with joy. So I was able to meet the love of my life. I had come from a very toxic relationship for many, many years. I ultimately found my self-worth. If I can do it, you can do it too. And I'm here to share these tools with you. So thank you for having me. I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay. Can everyone see my slide? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, beautiful. Okay. So yes, I'm here to share with you finding real love after a toxic relationship and the energetics behind it. And this is such incredible tools, and I'm thrilled to share it with you here. So as we begin, we know that when children are little, when they're about 5 or 6 years old, they learn arithmetic. They learn that 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 25. But if I were to go to this 5-year-old little boy and say, you know what, you can get to 25 with 2 numbers, he would say, no, you can't do that. But at his level of awareness, he is correct. But we have a different level of awareness because we can say, yes, you can get to 25 with just 2 numbers, just by multiplication. But as we start to grow and expand, we start to have a different level of awareness. This is the language of success. And as we continue, as we grow in our awareness, we realize we can actually get to 25 with 1 5. It's actually when we square it. So I'm here to show you that there is a different level of awareness for achieving the loving relationship that your heart already desires. Because back up one. Because you are not alone. You are here because you're ready to shift. There was something in you that called you to come to this presentation. There are no accidents. And if you have that desire in your heart that is already seeking in you, by universal law, he or she already exists out there. It is a possibility. You just have to get in alignment, and your energy in alignment with his energy or her energy, and you will ultimately find each other. And then when you start to heal, I celebrate you because it is very courageous. It is a decision that you make to move past all that old energy that no longer serves you. And I want to celebrate you here for being here and moving, having that desire to move that energy. So you are here. What we're going to do is we're going to tune into your heart's frequency. We're going to shift your energy from no longer chasing and trying to find that love to actually attracting it. Because if you are trying to find it, that is the energy of lack. And when you are in the energy of lack, you're going to get more lack as you keep looking. But when you sit there and you stand in the knowing that I deserve this, I am worthy of this, and you are that version of yourself who is already in the energy tone of the version of yourself that is in that loving relationship already, then that energy is emitting out there, and that energy will come back to you in that form of your loved one. So today we actually start that process. So my intention today is to give you 3 tools to help you achieve your goals. You're going to gain greater clarity on your goals and dreams for yourself as well as your relationship, and find even more confidence in your ability to do so. So I like to say that there are 2 signals for growth. Because you are sitting here and, you are sitting here and there is life flowing through you, that you are not choosing to beat your heart. You're not choosing to breathe. There is something outside of you other than your actual choice itself. That power that is breathing you, I like to say, is our spirit. It's universe that is breathing, it's life itself that is breathing us. And whenever we have this longing and discontent, longing is, I would love for a loving partner, like me sitting on that couch. I would love to have a loving partner in my life. Discontent, I don't want to be alone. I am not going to be alone. These are signals from spirit, and they are divine signals saying you are worthy of more. You have more life to give within yourself. So these are divine signals that when you start to identify those and you listen to those, then it's time for you to pay attention and take your next steps. So this is you wanting to grow in a fuller version of ourselves. So my story is, when I was in my former marriage, he was, don't get me wrong, he was a good provider, but he was also not present. He was not a present man. He was not emotionally present. In the end, I felt we were mostly friends, almost like business partners. I remember because I was the awkward girl in high school. I was shy. I was not that girl that was in student body. leading the community. I was not that girl that was on stage who can be on stage in the drama and do performance. I was the shy, awkward girl. I had friends, but I was not quite of the part of the crowd. And I carried that along with me throughout my young adult years. And when the first boy gave me attention in college, I remember thinking, I better hang on to this one, because what if no other boy looks at me? And I made it work. And that ended up, it was rocky. And we were in a relationship for many, many years. We were in a relationship for 7 years, and it was rocky the whole time. But I then said, what is the next step? What are my shoulds? I've already put in all this time with this guy. So then I made it work. Ultimately, we did get married. And that marriage was very rocky. In the end, he was, like I said, not present. When my son was 2 years old, he left. He actually left me. He didn't divorce me, but he left me. But again, I said, oh my gosh, it's a no-brainer. I have to hang on to him because I have a 2-year-old son. I have to save my family. So then I made it work again. And then we reconciled. And then I had my other son. And then when my other son was 2 years old, he left again, but this time he filed for divorce. But then I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to heal from this. But yet he stepped wanting to date me at that point. So while he wanted to date me, I said, no, I don't want to date you. But my therapist said, just invite him, just go to counseling. And every time he asked me on a date, I said, just go to counseling. And finally, one day when we got the judgment for the divorce, I said, okay, you got to come over. We're just going to go ahead and have a conversation with our oldest son because our youngest was too little. And we're going to say, mommy and daddy love you. You're going to have 2 homes. It's not your fault. The whole speech. And he said, I don't want to have that talk. Let's go to dinner. I said, only if you go to counseling. He went to counseling, but by then I thought, really? Now you want to go? I'm done in my head. But I said, again, I have to save my family. This is what I should do. So we went to counseling. We were in counseling for over a year. And I am grateful. I am grateful for him and my experience, because in the end, I know that there was some love there. Of course there was love and affection there. And he, in his own ways, he loved us in his own way, only as much as he is able to. We found out later that he had narcissistic traits when we were at the therapist. And I asked the counselor, because at that point he was making me a priority. He was making the children a priority. I said, is this ever going to change? And she said, those traits will always be there. He is going to have to make an effort and choice every single day to choose you and your family. 3 years into the marriage, he got comfortable again, and it went back to the way it was. I was no longer a priority. The children were no longer a priority. The only things that were priorities for him were himself and money. So ultimately I said no more. And then that's when I asked for the divorce this last time. So it was all very, it was exhausting. It was traumatic. I lost my self-worth. I felt that I was not worth anyone's time and money. And that was something that I carried with me throughout the years. So I'm here to tell you that you have an inner power. You can tap into that inner power that I finally tapped into. And I'm going to give you 3 keys to calibrate your energy so you can ultimately find your real love. And my promise to you is, in our time together, that I'm going to share 3 keys to mastering your vision of meeting the love of your life, so that you can feel more confident and connected and aligned with yourself. And when you can do that, that's when you are able to use these tools, take these tools today and apply them. And at the end of the presentation, some of you will love these tools and you're going to feel this little nudge that you might want a little more. And for those of you who have that nudge and you want a little bit more information, I have a special gift for you at the end. So let's get started. So today we are actually creating different results. We are creating results by design and by default. And what does that mean? That means we are living a life that we typically do on a regular basis. Sometimes we think that, you know what, I'm not going to date because all men are bad. and I'm not going to date because I was hurt before. And with that feeling, then you're saying, you know what, this is my reaction to my old trauma. So I'm just going to keep living my life. But the reality is you can actually design, you can choose to live a life that you love. So, and that you can actually create your results. Sorry, wrong way. And the way you create your results is that your results actually start from your thoughts. When you have certain thoughts, it'll evoke certain feelings. And when you have certain feelings, it'll actually create certain actions, and then you'll get certain results. So for example, in my example, when I thought, you know what, I have no choice but to stay and save this marriage for my children. That was a feeling of, for me, I felt constricted. And I said, I have to stay here. It's a no-brainer. My action was, I'm going to stay, and therefore I had the results, but ultimately I was still not happy. But if I want to change my results, where I want different things, what I want is you have to actually change your thoughts. So what if I said, which I ultimately did on the end, I said, you know what? No, I am worth more. I am worth what I would love in a relationship. So then I felt so much better about myself. And then my action at that point was, I was braver. I took courage. And then I said, this is what I would love. And ultimately I did different results. I got different results, which in the back end, now I have my loving husband. So it all starts with your thoughts. So as you're sitting here, I want you to notice what you're noticing. Notice that you're sitting. Notice that you're sitting on a chair. Notice that you're breathing. You can notice your shoulders, and you can notice your head. At the same time, then notice that you can notice your thoughts. Notice when the thoughts are saying, who's gonna date you? Or you're just gonna get hurt. Why are you gonna do that? Notice your thinking, no judgment. You can just notice your thoughts. And when you do this check-in, ask yourself, am I settling for less than I deserve? Do I feel diminished after I have these interactions with these people? Or am I afraid to be my true self? Am I afraid to show myself? And when you're in these toxic relationships, you can also notice what it does to you energetically. You're going to feel drained. You're not going to have joy. You're not going to have peace. You're going to feel stuck in survival mode. That was me all those years, up until only maybe 10 years ago. I wish I had these tools when I was in my 20s, but this is me. I was in survival mode. And when you are draining energetically, it can sometimes be disguised as passion, but it's actually filled with fear. My passion was to save my family, but I was actually just very fearful. So the first key is actually visualizing your radiant self. Use your imagination. And I'm going to play a game with you. If you could wave a magic wand, ask yourself, what would I love? In that relationship that I would love, how would I feel? How would I be? What would we be doing? You would ask yourself and design what that relationship would look like. Design that vision. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you to just go ahead and close your eyes for a minute. And I'm going to do a brief guided meditation with you. And then you're going to journal in just a moment. Okay, so go ahead and get comfortable. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose, out through your mouth like through a straw. And imagine it's 3 years from now. Imagine you're in that loving relationship that you always desired. Imagine waking up next to that person and you just roll over. You could feel the sheets and you can hear the swish of the sheets as you shift your weight, and you look over and you see them. And now imagine your partner gets up, goes downstairs, makes you a cup of coffee, comes back and hands you that coffee. and leans over and gives you a kiss on your forehead. Now imagine, what would you love? You get up, you get dressed, and you go do something. What does that look like in your mind? Where are you? What are you doing? And most of all, what does it feel like to be in this loving relationship? Okay. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth like through a straw. And then open your eyes when you are comfortable. Beautiful. All right. You just imagine what it was like to be in a loving relationship. And I'm going to give you about a minute to go ahead and journal what you just imagined and felt so you can ground that energy. Here you go. Oops, wrong one, sorry. Goodness. Go ahead and keep journaling. Okay, I'll give you about 30 more seconds. All right, and take it in for a landing. Wrap up your last sentence. Beautiful. And to be continued. You can always continue this image after and add to this visioning, and I invite you to always continue to do this and live and feel into that vision. At the end of your vision, I want you to write this or something even better still, because you just imagine what it would be like to be in that loving relationship. This is kind of like our 5-year-old, which is doing the arithmetic. 5 + 5 + 5 + 5 + 5 equals 25. You are at your current level of awareness. When we say this or something even better still, that means we are leaving it up to universe, to a higher awareness that can deliver something that we'd absolutely love. Beautiful work. The next key is decision. Decide today that you are worthy and that you would love that loving relationship in your life. It's a decision. And once you decide, then everything will fall into place. The universe will conspire to bring all the resources to you to bring this about. So that is the second key. And the third key is reframe and replace. Reframe your inner dialogue. You are not broken. You are actually becoming. You're going to shift it into empowering thoughts. You're going to shine your light. You're going to replace your limiting beliefs. Beliefs like you're going to release, I'm always going to be alone. You're going to replace and release anything that says, I am not worthy. I am broken. No one's going to talk to me, or I'm just going to date that again. Release all of that, because that doesn't serve you. And you're going to embrace the empowering thoughts. I am worthy. I am deserving. I deserve love. And you're going to sit there. You're going to embody the shift. You're going to set your clear boundaries so you can actually receive what you would love. You're going to surround yourself with support and then say yes to the possibility. Be open to receiving. and clear that stagnant energy to make room for the new. Spirit will dismiss the person who is not serving you and be open to that. And that is okay. So that man or woman can actually come in, that loving relationship that you would love. So as to recap, these are the 3 keys. Visualize your radiant self. Make the decision for yourself, and reframe and replace all those thoughts, the ones that no longer serve you, and bring in thoughts that serve you. Because you are absolutely worthy of a dream and a life that you love. You are worthy of that. And as I promised at the beginning of this presentation, I had a special gift for those of you who are ready to take action on your dream, for those of you who this resonates with. And between my coaching and speaking schedule, I carve out a few times each week for breakthrough sessions. And a breakthrough session is a 30-minute Zoom session where we will dive deep into what is bubbling up inside of you and what you would absolutely love, and will create a vision and possible steps towards that vision as well. And this one-on-one session is valued at $250, but this is complimentary. So come in if this is you and you have that nudge to just, you know what, let's just have a conversation. And we can go ahead and dive deep and let me serve you, because you are ready for love. You are ready for the love that honors you. And you already took the first step. Awareness is the first step. Because when you calibrate your energy, energy will create that attraction. And when you have the belief in that energy and exactly what you would love, that creates the frequency. And then when you move and you take the action, and the action might be just the decision, you know what, I am ready. I do want that love in my life. That could be your first micro action. You are worthy. So thank you very much for having me. If you would love to have that conversation with me, here is my QR code, and I will put that in the chat as well. Oh, thank you.
I got your calendar, so I put it on there.
Thank you, Miriam. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. Let me stop sharing.
I did felt your energy as everybody else. And I'm very grateful because we were going to follow on a Q&A, but I'll be the first, because everybody needs coaching. We coach others every day or every week or every month, but there is no person on this world that doesn't need it, right? And I have been single for 7 years, partly by choice and partly by maybe demand. Maybe I'm too demanded. Maybe I can't find a spiritual man that can take care of me, because usually I'm the caretaker. So I'm very honored to have you on board. It's not like I'm manifesting love, because 1 minute I want it, another minute I think, oh, I can't deal with men. So as part of Q&A, I have not decided if I want love in my life or not. So you just give me a clear idea to make my mind up, because I feel happy alone, but sometimes I don't. It's very rare when I don't, because I am a giver. I give love to everyone, to the world, to my family. So I don't have to ask you what you do in my position, because I've already understand that I'm the confusing one, that not sending the signal to the universe if I really want it or not. And that is preventing me to find it. So thank you for that.
Yes, and that's, and one, I'm going to celebrate your awareness, noticing what you're noticing that there's a part of you that would love that, and then and noticing that there's another part of you, even though sometimes it may be rare, that would love a partner. So that's the first step, is the awareness. So noticing what you're noticing, and as you know, as you now you have that awareness, then you know, you can journal, you can reflect, you can, you know, see what part of you wants to lean in where. So yeah, beautiful work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to leave it open for anybody else who want to obviously have a little question. I wanted to think really hard or deep what is preventing you from getting out of a toxic relationship, because we've all been there. My mom's been in one for 40 years, and I'm dealing with the pieces that left shattered. And this is one of the reasons I don't perhaps attract love, because I'm always dealing with family that have issues. and it's been heavy on me. So I want to ask everyone to raise, whoever wants to have a question, but first think really deep. What is your question? What is, or if there's any fears in there, because we all have fears. Why are you still in a toxic relationship if you have one? Why you have not jumped into a brand new relationship? What is that needs to be changed in yourselves? Perhaps Sharon will help you to, sometimes we detect these things when in a masterclass and workshops like these, because we are more vulnerable. Sometimes you don't want to share it out. When we become less vulnerable, we can open as a family. So this is a safe space, and the space is open for anyone want to raise their hand. So go ahead and let it out. Ellen, go ahead, unmute yourself.
So I have been out of a relationship since 2012. And have been going recently. I've made a decision that I am ready to be in relationship again. And I enjoy being alone. So it's not like I'm in that, I got to have somebody to make me whole and complete state of being. And yet I have always said that I feel like our purpose as on the planet is to love and be loved. That is where we grow. That's our green growing edge in my world of how we grow into our best selves. So I am entertaining that, and it's like clarity, because I know I waffle on, well, it's really it's so easy being, I can totally expound on all the wonderful things about being alone and making all the decisions on my own. I have, just in that. And there is a loneliness, or there's a not creating with another person energy. And I want to be in service. So when I look at what I want to create, or what this human being, I want to have someone that loves being in service and is doing good things in the world and is so passionate about what he's doing. So it's like, I know I'm getting clearer. It's just like, I feel like it's just making that solid clarity declaration statement about what it is I want to attract.
May I respond, Liliana?
Yes, please do go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that you stayed in, because obviously it's a chance for you to shine on today.
Thank you. And that's beautiful. And I remember thinking that before, because I was an attorney. I was successful. I had my life dialed in. I was perfectly happy with just my boys. I didn't want to have to give up any more of myself now that I found myself. I didn't want to have to change anything, give up my money. I didn't want to have anybody telling my boys what to do, if they weren't loving.
Right.
And I was dialed in. I was good, but there was a part of me. So I'm going to invite you to lean into, what if it's possible to have a man, a loving partner that would fit in just perfectly and be compatible without you having to compromise or give up anything about yourself. And if you leave a corner of your mind open to the what if, and you just kind of lean into that, and that can kind of grow. And I'll invite you to keep doing your vision. The more you do your vision, the clearer you get, the clearer that message is to the universe, and you get more in alignment with that energy. And yeah. And to this day, I still have a coach, because I will always have a coach, because I'm always growing. I want to continue to grow so that I can serve others. And those were some of the tips that my coach back then had told me. Continue to be in vision and get clearer, and keep a corner of your mind open. Because what if it's possible to have both? Doesn't have to be either or. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? because I wanna, if nobody else wanna say nothing now, I can maybe spark some interest, because I don't think there's anybody in the world who hasn't gone through a toxic relationship, whether it's for ourselves or our families, and we have the tendency to attract more of the same for a reason. And this is one of the reasons I don't want to, or I tell the universe that I'm not sure if I want to a relationship, because for the past years, like last 2 years, I've attracted only the wrong kind. And I put a stop to it right away, because I'm for wisdom. My inner tells me straight away they're not for me. So something happens in between, and they either leave or I leave, or I don't get to the stage of intimacy ever, because there's always this knowing. The universe says to me, that's not your match. So when we are connected, the universe actually makes that for us to happen. And I know I'm connected. It's just I'm not decisive enough. And I know that I attract the wrong kind because there's needy people, because again, comes from the background of my family being needy. And I keep attracting the needy ones. And I want to break that cycle. Although I teach alchemy and I know how to do it, when it comes to love, I'm a huge failure. Not that I fail myself, because I don't. I fail my own requests of wanting to happen, because I know how to make it happen. And this is so difficult when we know the how, because if we don't apply it, it's not going to serve us. And this is something that I want to leave in the air, because it's crucial that Sharon has reminded me that we need to want it. And I'm not sure yet. I meet men every day, and they say how lovely I am and this and the other, the drill. And I go like, too much, too little, and I start choosing and picking. And I was like, oh, he talks too much, this doesn't talk enough, and da-da-da. Do you know? And then they come with the same old thing, like the background, traumatic, not healed, da-da-da. And I run straight away. I'm like, nope, not for me. But what if some of us are not fully healed? And maybe the one that sometimes I speak for myself, that we reject by the appearance, is the one who's gonna thrive, because this takes two people to heal, and they have to be together. So maybe this little steps that you gave me made me just come through this awareness of, sometimes we want the perfect thing to happen to us, right? But it's not what we want. Sometimes it's what the universe knows that we need or seek to go further. And sometimes I reject because of the fact that there's trauma, there's unhealed man, there is this and there is that, and I don't want to go through this anymore. But what if they think like me? What if? Because we don't know until we try. So thank you again, because you're making me be more aware of the things in myself that I was not aware of. Maybe I was aware, but maybe I'm too hard on myself, because I can choose any guy. Honestly, I can. I know how. But then I'm too picky, and I keep choosing until the universe say, no, this is not good for you. And then I run away from the ones who want to stay, because it's always the case. The ones who stay and are very, they like to have this, but can they handle me? Do you know all these questions that we have as women? So if there's anything, we have to be aware of these little things. What if I'm stopping my own happiness? Because I could be doing this, I mean, I'm happy as I am. Again, it's just we're talking about love, and love is so strong, because I think, what's going to happen if I find love? What's going to be with my mom? What's going to be with it? You see, always for second and third. And I don't realize that I'm always putting myself for second and third when I tell everyone we go first. We must go first. This huge realizations in here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for your vulnerability and sharing. And I'm honored that I sparked that curiosity and awareness in you, and that's beautiful for me. So thank you for that gift. And I just want to add, yes, I remember when I was dating, because you're doing work as you continue to heal and grow. As I continue to work with my coach, I was doing my inner work. I joined my coaching program thinking I'm here to meet my man. I'm going to learn strategies, how to meet a guy. Oh no, I was like, wait, I gotta look in here first. So I ended up healing inside first before I even looked outward. And I remember as I was dating, I said, okay, I learned that lesson in this one date. And then I dated another guy and it ended up not being the guy. And I thought, dang it, I thought I learned that lesson. Clearly, universe said I didn't learn that lesson yet. So here I was again in that relationship that didn't, and I don't say fail, because towards the end, I started to shift the perspective. Every relationship gave me something to learn. So as I learned from each experience, I grew from each one. So yes, so possibility, shining the light of awareness on what you said. It's possible that some of your thoughts are getting in your way. You're consenting to certain thoughts. You know, I am second or third, so therefore I am second or third.
I am aware of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was been aware. It just, I'm not allowing the blessings. And I always tell the, the mentees to be allowing themselves to open there for the blessings. But when it comes to us, we're very hard on ourselves,
Yes.
because we teach me, and most people want to know how to make money. And that for me is secondary. And I've always told this. And that's probably, for me to be in secondary, you make me aware of something else again, is sometimes this blessing comes from love. Love first, then money is secondary. So I'm always putting everything for second. But I'm very happy who I am. I'm very complete. I'm a very complete woman. I'm not lacking anything, I'm just not certain enough if I want to be in relationships, because I'm so used to be on my own now for 7 years. It gets harder and harder as you get older, as Ellen probably understands, because we have our own ways of living. We have our own, we create our own little world of solitude. It's not because we are lonely, because we actually enjoy to be alone. So I don't see it as an obstacle, but it would be nice if the right guy come along. So maybe you trigger some. I met some lovely people in Portugal. Came here to help my mom, but again, I judge too much. I'm not a judge, but because it's for me, I want the best. so I think, nah, not for me. And but sometimes I see why it's not for me, because I see the lessons. You see, and recognizing is also good. Recognizing, because the same lesson keeps appearing until the universe says, okay, you learn, let's send you the next. So recently I met a lovely guy, again, half my age. I don't know why I attract people half my age. And I'm not even there for the guy. I've said to the universe, you know what? I'm going to let it flow like a river, like I teach my students. I don't care. If he wants me, he has to conquer me. I don't know anything about the guy. If he's rich, if he's poor, he could be poor probably. I don't care. Not many people rich in this area where my mom lives. But you know what? It's not about that. It's to be aware of, are you ready to meet somebody you can grow together? I don't know. And this is the question I have to ask myself. Joy asked a question. So if you could answer it, she asked you why, what made you help women? It was a question.
What made me help women is really because I shared a bit of my story where I really felt unworthy, not good enough, practically my whole life. And as I continued to do that, and I was able to overcome that, I was then, with the tools that I learned, I am literally loving my life right now. And sometimes I have my current husband right now. I say this, I said, gosh, I thought those types of relationships only existed in the movies, and I wanted that rom-com, love that you feel, but you know what? He's it. He's amazing. He's more than I could ever ask for. As I was visualizing, he's more than that. And I didn't think it was possible, coming from what I came from. So because I'm sorry.
So you doubt yourself. You did.
I
doubt.
did. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Because that's human nature, right? We doubt.
Yes.
Like we are thinking about we're not worthy, but we doubt if we are, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that is something I want to ask. Thank you for that. How do you go from the awareness to the doubt? How do you go out of the doubt? because this is the crucial point. When people ask me about how, because I create realities all the time. If I'm fed up with something, I just put myself, I jump full on. I just go like, okay, throw myself in there. And this is how you jump realities. But for men, it's not like that. It's like, oh, I want you, I'm going to grab you, you're mine. It's not going to happen like that. This is where, maybe you call it stagnant, stuck, whatever you want to call it. But for me, it's big because it's happening to me. I can't just go like, okay, I can jump my reality and pretend that you are my boyfriend. It's not true. I know it's not true. So I cannot jump into reality. How do you do it? How do you go from the awareness to the doubt, or from the doubt to the awareness to get it? That's
so
good.
Different tools that I teach my clients, and
Okay.
one of them is, it's that tool that I gave you here. Notice what you're noticing.
Okay.
When you notice your thoughts, you notice your thoughts that are disempowering. You notice, oh, I'm saying, you know, like I'm not worthy, or I'm not enough, or maybe I'm fat, or maybe I'm this, or maybe whatever that is.
I am
When
enough.
you
I know that.
when you notice
Yeah.
notice those thoughts, or it could even be, if it's not even about yourself, the thoughts could be, there are no good men out there. There's no one in my area near me. You know, they're just gonna suck the life out of me. I'm gonna have to give up everything that I've already created. Those can be the thoughts as well. It doesn't have to be about yourself. When you realize that, you know what, those thoughts are not serving what I would love.
You just touched on a key.
You pause it. You pause it. Say thank you, because these are your old stories that want to keep you safe. They want to keep you in your comfort zone. They want to keep you there. And you say thank you. I know you want to keep me safe. And your brain is wired to think that way. We've been thinking that way for so long. So when you notice those thoughts, you pause, you breathe, you get back into that vision that you started creating. And then from that calm, rest, digest, create energy that you're in, that calm, you go into that vision, you go into the feeling tone, and then you stay an affirmative statement. I am whatever. I love myself. I am worthy. I'm enough. There are good men out there. My man is out there, right? And then
not working for. This is one that you touched the key for me, because I say what you just said. There is no good man out here. It could be one on holiday. Now it make me think someone can.
You only need one. You only need one. You only need one. My now husband, when I started dating, he was in another state.
Oh, wow.
Which, you know, so the universe brings everything. It aligns everything. He was in another state when we started dating.
Yeah.
So, but when you, just to wrap up that question, when you start, you notice your disempowering thoughts, you start rewire your brain by saying your empowering thought, whatever it is. And the more you say the empowering thought, it will become more dominant, and the other one will start to fade. Now, but there's repetition. If it were easy, we'd all be doing it. You know, it's repetition and a structure of support. That's what you need. Repetition and a structure of support. You know, like I said, today, I still have coaches because I'm still growing, you know? Yes.
Thank you so much. It made me realize what I know, but maybe what I prevent to happen for myself. Because this is probably not a priority. This is why the universe said, if it's not a priority, it can wait. And I realize just this now. If it's not a priority for you, it's like the money. If it's not a priority, you can wait. That's fine. But the thing is with money is I'm very lucky. So very lucky. I don't go to find it. The money finds me and is enough for my needs, because I'm not one of those people like driven by money. So, and that's why you said, if you're not worried about these things, they come to you. So maybe I should start saying, I don't know, maybe my thinking should start shifting a little bit and put myself in a position where I am deserving, and I will be okay with a man, because I'm not sure about that yet.
That's the first step. Celebrating that. Beautiful.
So
Thank you.
We are.
Thank you. Thank you, Liliana and Sharon. Let me share my slides real quick. I want to make a special invitation to our community. And that is, you know, to join our Quantum Alchemy Activation Inner Circle. For those who are already not part of that. And basically, what does that even mean? What you receive is each month we have 2 live Quantum Alchemy Q&A monthly calls. We have exclusive access to monthly workshops. So basically, like a workshop like this will be included. Inner Circle call recordings. You guys get access to that. Surprise expert topic guest speakers, healers, and energy guides. Supportive high frequency community, and a private Inner Circle member chat. So even though we might not be on a group call, you can always put a comment or some, hey, I need support in this. We have a member group chat that you'll be part of. Now, this offer is normally $147 a month, but for the workshops, the workshop rate is $44 a month. Basically, there's no long-term contract. You can cancel on it anytime. Bonuses are unlocked the longer you stay, and access to expert topic guest speakers. Okay, so here's a QR code, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat as well. And for those who attended, we'll get an email, obviously as well, with the invitation. And in case that invitation has the regular price, just message me and I'll send you this link, okay? All right, just wanted to share that real quick. And don't forget to book a call with Sharon. For those of you just to have, the free, call with her where she can, help you out, and you guys can talk it out when it comes to relationships. I would say take advantage of it. And I did put her link in the chat. Okay. That's all I have. I want to say thank you so much. Liliana, you want to go ahead and end it? And thank you, Sharon, again.
I want to thank you, Adam, and thank Sharon for being here to be committed to our community. And it will be a pleasure to invite you again some point. Once a month, we have these diverse workshops, and they are not about love. They are about a variety of things, as Miriam said. And I want to thank every person that took their time off Saturday to be here. And I want to just give you a blessing to follow all your dreams and, desires to be fulfilled, and your life's being enriched with this entitlement that we have. We don't think we are entitled to have all these blessings, but we have. So I just want to send you these blessings, and I'm so grateful for each of you. And for my business partner Miriam, I'm very grateful for her, because many years ago I kind of almost decided this, the universe is not letting me to say the word, give up on myself, and here I am. I drop all my love, my self-esteem is gone. And because we've all been on the same path, and together we empower each other. And this is what these workshops are good for, because we are all, every day, we are still growing and learning with each other. So I'm very grateful. And I'll see the Inner Circle again in a few weeks' time on a Q&A. Maybe
Okay.
to talk about this, probably this on workshop. About it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you, everybody.
Yeah, and I'll
All
see
right.
you.
Thanks. Thank you again, Sharon. Bye-bye.
Bye.